If you've ever closed your eyes and suddenly seen your husband with her, even though you weren't there, you've probably wondered why your mind keeps doing this to you. Sometimes it's a memory, sometimes it's a detail you were told, and sometimes it's an entire scene your mind created to fill in what you don't know. But your body responds to all three as though you've just discovered the affair again. Here's what most women misunderstand. The image may not be repeating because you haven't processed the affair enough. It may be repeating because some part of you believes the replay will keep you from ever being blindsided again. And until you understand what happens in the first few seconds after that image appears, you'll keep trying to stop it at the wrong point in the cycle. In this video, I'm going to show you why these images can continue even after you've talked through the affair, asked your questions, gone to therapy, and done everything you thought would help you move forward. You'll also learn why more details can calm you temporarily without stopping the next image from appearing. And before we're done, I'll give you one practical way to respond when an image hits without suppressing it, believing everything it tells you, or pretending you're fine. Because the goal isn't to erase your memory, the goal is for the memory to stop automatically taking over your present. I'm Soraya Bastian. I'm a yoga therapist and a neurosomatic intelligence practitioner, and I've spent more than a decade helping women recover after betrayal, including 7 years working alongside Dr. Kevin Skinner at Addo Recovery and helping more than 2,000 women through Beyond Breath. And the images, the replaying, and the fear that they'll never stop are patterns I've seen again and again. Maybe it happens when you close your eyes at night. You're lying beside your husband, exhausted, trying to sleep, and then suddenly you see him with her. Your stomach drops, your chest tightens, and now you're completely awake. You start reviewing what you know. Where were they? What exactly did they do? What did he say to her? Did he touch her the way he touches you? You may turn toward him and ask another question, or you may stay completely still because you already know you've asked it. You know the answer. You can almost hear him giving it again. But knowing the answer doesn't stop the scene. Sometimes it happens during intimacy. You want to be close to him. You may even be enjoying the moment. Then she enters the room without physically being there. You picture him touching her. You wonder whether he's comparing you. And suddenly you're no longer feeling your own body. All of your attention has moved into an image of theirs. And now you have to decide whether to push through, pull away, cry, become angry, or pretend nothing happened. And sometimes the image appears in the middle of an ordinary day. You're driving, folding laundry, taking a shower, sitting at your desk, watching your child play. 10 seconds earlier, you were fine. Then the affair is directly in front of you. That can be one of the most frightening parts. There wasn't an obvious trigger. There wasn't a suspicious message. There wasn't a change in his behavior. The image simply arrived. And because it arrived with so much force, it must mean something. Maybe I'm not healing. Maybe I'm still missing information. Maybe my intuition is warning me. Maybe I'm never going to get past this. But the intensity of an image doesn't automatically tell you what the image means. It tells you that your body reacted. The meaning still has to be determined. And that distinction is where your power starts to come back. Because these images don't only take a few uncomfortable seconds from you, they take your sleep. They take your focus. They take moments with your children you can't get back. They take affection and turn it into comparison. They take a perfectly good evening and place the affair in the middle of it. Eventually, you may begin avoiding anything that brings the images closer. You avoid lying quietly beside him. You avoid intimacy. You avoid certain songs, restaurants, streets, dates, shows, and conversations. You may even avoid feeling happy, because happiness requires you to lower your guard, and lowering your guard now feels irresponsible. You were relaxed before. You believed your life was one thing while something else was happening outside your awareness. So part of you makes a decision. Never again. Never be that comfortable. Never be that unaware. Never let a good moment convince you that everything's okay. The image becomes part of your surveillance system. It keeps the betrayal close enough that you won't forget what he was capable of. But remembering what happens isn't the same as spending every day preparing to experience it again. You don't have to forget the affair. You don't have to minimize it. And you don't have to decide he's trustworthy. But his affair has already taken enough. It doesn't deserve every quiet moment, every night of sleep, every experience of intimacy, and every remaining hour of your life. You've probably tried to stop the images by understanding them. That makes sense. When something destroys your understanding of your own life, your mind starts searching for the missing pieces. You may have asked him to walk you through the timeline. You may have reread messages. You may have searched for social media. You may have compared photographs. You may have asked what they did, what she wore, what he felt, what he said, and whether he thought about you. Some of that information may have been necessary. Truth matters. His honesty matters. His accountability matters. You're allowed to ask questions and respond to what's actually true. But there's a point where you're no longer gathering information. You're mentally returning to the scene, hoping you'll finally find the detail that makes it feel finished. For a moment, another answer can help. You feel the tension release. You think, okay, now I understand. Then later that night, the image changes. Your mind finds a new angle, a new question, a new possibility, and the relief disappears. This is where intelligent, emotionally aware women get trapped. You assume the next question must be important because the last answer didn't hold. But the reason it didn't hold may not be that the answer was incomplete. It may be that no answer about the past can guarantee what will happen in the future. And certainty isn't something he can give you with one more detail. You may also try to force the images away. Stop thinking about it. Focus on something positive. Distract yourself. Be grateful, forgive, move forward. But now you're not only dealing with the image, you're fighting yourself for having it. Or maybe you've spent a significant amount of time in therapy. You understand betrayal trauma. You understand triggers. You can explain why this affected you. You may even know which earlier experiences it touched. That understanding can be valuable. But understanding why an image exists doesn't always change what happens in your body during the first second it appears. That's the gap so many women can't make sense of. You know better, but you don't feel different. You know you're standing in your bedroom in the present, but your body's responding as though you're inside the affair. You know there's no new information in front of you, but the image feels urgent. That doesn't mean the work you've done was pointless. It means the reaction may begin somewhere that more analysis can't reach first. And this next distinction is the one most women have never been taught. The image, the alarm, the current facts. Those three things can happen so quickly that they feel like one event. An image appears, your body reacts, and your mind begins building a case. Within seconds, you're no longer asking what's happening right now. You're responding as though the image has already proven something. The mind is trying to understand, prepare, and prevent another shock. Because the original betrayal didn't only hurt, it overturned what you believed was real. You may look back now and see moments when you were happy while something else was happening outside your awareness. That creates a specific fear. I can't trust what I see. You thought you knew your marriage. You thought you knew him. You thought you knew what was happening in your own life. Then you discovered there was another reality you hadn't been allowed to see. So your mind starts building possible realities constantly. Maybe this happened. Maybe he said this. Maybe he felt this. Maybe there's still something I don't know. It generates images in an attempt to make sure you're never caught inside the wrong version of reality again. That's why an image can feel like intuition. It feels protective. It feels like it's showing you something important. But an image isn't automatically evidence. And dismissing it isn't the answer either. This is where women believe they have only two options: believe every frightening image and investigate it, or ignore the image and risk becoming naive. Those aren't your only choices. There is a third option: discernment. Discernment means you don't automatically believe the fear, but you don't silence it either. You create enough space to ask what the fear is responding to. Is it responding to current information, or is it responding to the memory of what happened before? That's why the betrayal reset begins with the body. Not because your thoughts don't matter, not because the affair is merely a nervous system problem, and not because his choices aren't irrelevant. It begins with the body because that may be where the reaction begins. By the time you tell yourself to calm down, your stomach's already dropped, your heart's already racing, your muscles are already bracing. Your attention has already narrowed around the threat. Your mind then tries to explain the alarm, and the most available explanation is the affair. Body first doesn't mean body only. It means creating enough space between the alarm and your next decision that you can determine what's actually happening. The goal isn't to become less aware, it's to become more accurate. The next time an image appears, don't immediately try to solve it, and don't force it away. Start by naming what's actually happening. Say, I'm seeing an image. Not, he's doing it again. Not, I'll never recover. Not, this must mean something's wrong. Simply, I'm seeing an image. That sentence creates the first separation between you and what your mind has produced. Next, bring your attention into the room you're physically in. Press both feet into the floor, the mattress, or whatever's supporting you. And slowly move your eyes and find 3 neutral objects: a door, a lamp, a chair. Don't look for something beautiful. Don't try to feel grateful. You're not trying to convince yourself everything's okay. You're giving your body current information. This room, this moment, this date. Then ask, this image is connected to what happened then. What do I actually know about what's happening now? Not, how do I prove everything's fine? You may not know that everything's fine, and you don't need to lie to yourself. Ask what you actually know. There may be current information that requires your attention. There may be one clear question you need to ask. There may be a boundary you need to hold. Or there may be no new evidence at all, only an image, an alarm, and the fear of being blindsided again. From there, you have 3 possible responses. Take action based on present evidence, question, or choose not to act while the alarm settles. This isn't about talking yourself out of your instincts. It's about refusing to call fear intuition before you've examined what it's responding to. And this may not make the image disappear the first time you do it. That isn't the measure of success. The first success is that the image doesn't automatically decide what happens next. You stay connected to yourself long enough to have a say. One woman described her life before Beyond Breath by saying she had the same thought playing repeatedly. Will he do this again? She couldn't let her mind rest. She couldn't sleep. What changed wasn't that someone finally promised her she'd never be her again. She learned how to work with the reaction differently. She later described being able to become present again and get her sleep back. Another woman woke up crying at 2 a.m. Her familiar pattern would have been to lie there and ruminate. She would have replayed everything, followed each thought into another question, and lost the rest of the night. Instead, she got out of bed and responded to what was happening in her body. She used movement to help the alarm move through instead of turning it into another mental investigation. Then she went back to sleep. That may sound like a small win. It isn't, because the goal isn't to have a perfectly calm life where you never remember what happened. It's to stop losing the rest of the night to the first painful thought. It's to stop losing the family dinner to an image. It's to stop losing your body during intimacy. It's to stop losing your entire present to something that happened in the past. When you begin changing the first moments of the reaction, the rest of the cycle can begin to change. The image appears, but it's no longer automatically followed by 3 hours of questioning, checking, comparing, fighting, or shutting down. That's how your life begins returning to you, not all at once, moment by moment. The images aren't the entire problem. They're one place a larger betrayal cycle shows up. The same alarm that produces an image may also send you toward his phone, make reassurance wear off within an hour, keep you studying his mood, or convince you that relaxing will make you vulnerable to another betrayal. And you can't fully change that cycle by becoming better at arguing with your thoughts. You have to work in the order the reaction is actually happening. Body first, then self-trust, then your life. That's what I explain in the free training linked below. I'll show you how the betrayal reset helps you respond to what's happening now instead of automatically reliving what happened then, without ignoring red flags, forcing yourself to trust him, or making your healing dependent on his perfection. Because the goal isn't to forget what happened. The goal is to know that if something's wrong, you'll recognize it and care for yourself. And if nothing's wrong, you won't sacrifice another day of your life trying to prove it.